Cool.
You ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
This is Chris with Audio Bar. We're backstage here at the 930 Club with Mihali from Twiddle.
Howdy.
So thanks a lot for coming on, taking a few minutes with us.
Yeah, man, my pleasure.
So we wanted to do a sort of gear rundown earlier, but things are a little chaotic here. So
Yeah.
we're just here backstage, and hopefully we can get some cool info about your guitars. And
Yeah, man. These are DGN custom guitars. This is the Kalos model. It was kind of a brainchild of me and Dan Neefsey, who's the owner and head of DGN. And yeah, it's a fully arch-topped, top and back braced guitar. This one is Coca-Cola top and back with, I think, Eastern maple sides and neck. The headstock and the fretboard and the tailpiece are Wenge. It's 24 frets, and the electronics in it, it's got two hand-wired custom DGN PAF humbuckers. Down here is just a regular pickup selector. This is a blaster, which is really like it's like a dB gain that goes in the guitar. It's it really like kind of brightens up the guitar and makes it cut through a little bit more. And then these two switches are just series parallel switches, which kind of give it that single coil sound without all the volume loss of a tapped coil. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I got custom inlays, runs 11 gauge strings. And
we're gonna have to take a picture of this because this camera will not do this guitar justice from back there. This thing is absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
Is that flame maple binding on there?
Yeah, it's weird. The top and the back are inset to the sidewalls, so there's no hard edges. It's all kind of round, so it's very comfortable when it sits on your body. Yeah, it's all maple, flame maple binding. He did a really great job, and they play like butter. They're incredible.
That's gorgeous.
Sustained for days. This will be like my fourth show playing them, and each show I'm kind of figuring out the nuances of them, and it's just getting nicer and nicer to play.
What kind of fingerboard was that again?
Wenge, which is like a rosewood. I had never heard of it till he kind of showed it to me, and we talked about it, and it's amazing. It's not as I wanted to go with an ebony fretboard at first, but we kind of went over the differences in the woods, and I went to rosewood, and this kind of sat in the middle, so we went with this one.
What does Wenge sound in relation to rosewood? Ebony's a little brighter, and rosewood tends to be a little warmer.
Right. This is kind of sort of in the middle.
Okay.
It's more like rosewood for sure.
Okay.
Which is kind of what I wanted.
Cool.
Yeah.
Want to take a look at this guy down here?
So this one's the line. It has a line inlay here, and maybe you guys get some close-ups of it.
Oh, yeah. We got to definitely...
Here, I'll hand you this.
Yeah.
I'll grab this. And then, there we go. You got that?
Yeah.
So this is the other one he built for me, which we call the Elephant, which is California rosewood, top and back. And everything else is the same as the other guitar. This one doesn't have the fancy electronics. We kept it very straight up, passive. It's a little thicker. The back is arched more. So this one is super loud when you play it. So it's a really loud guitar. It's beautiful. It's got that classic jazz arch top sound to it, where this one is more of like an electric kind of squealer, I guess.
You say this one's had a different back carve on it?
Yeah, that one is a flatter back carve. This one is really kind of more like your PRS.
Right.
You know, it's top and back is kind of flamed out a lot more. And I think I've been thinking about kind of playing this. Almost there's a lot of acoustic songs we do, and this has such a bright, like, almost sounds acoustic going through the two-rock. So there's definitely a place for it in a lot of our songs. So I'm just trying to kind of balancing between how I want to use that and this in terms of the certain songs we do and how kind of I EQ them live. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this one's great. I mean, they both play and feel exactly the same. This one's just a little louder, a little more wild in terms of like the fully arched top and back. But yeah, I mean,
Well, you've got me interested in these guys. These are absolute works of art. You're a lucky
Building me
guy.
a Koa one.
Koa one. Ooh.
So I'm stoked. I think the Koa is gonna sit right in the middle.
Right
of
in the
two.
middle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I couldn't be happier. They're incredible, man.
Cool. Well, what kind of amps and effects are you using these days?
I use a 2-Rock custom reverb, and I've been using it now for about half a year, and I love it. I was always kind of a Silverface Twin guy, and I just was kind of looking for something kind of similar but new, and a little less maintenance. Those Silverfaces are beautiful, amazing amps, and I have a few of them, but they can be a pain to get retubed and find the right people to do a good job.
Yeah, I have a 68 Bassman myself. It's I love it, but sometimes it can.
Yeah, it's just on the road for a quick fix. It's really difficult sometimes. But yeah, the 2-Rock's great. It's a 2-Rock cab, 2-Rock speakers in it. And as far as effects go, I have a lot of all my overdrives are Maxon, 2 808s. And then they're like super overdrive. It's the red
Love
one.
that pedal.
Yeah.
I have the OD9 Plus and the 808.
Yeah.
You know Kevin?
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, they're a
Kevin's
great
man.
company. Yeah.
They are. He's been helping me build my tone for years now.
Mm-hmm.
I just added a tube factor.
I have one of those. Those are amazing.
I just added it today, so we'll see how it goes. But I loved it during sound check. It really just has a kind of like a clean boost.
Yeah, I kind of see it as almost like a tube screamer-ish type thing.
Yeah, it's another thing to stack on top.
I got it because I heard Jimmy Herring.
Jimmy Herring, that's why. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's why I bought it. I used to have it in my rig for a while, and I lent it to a friend, never got it back, and my sound guy brought his for me to try out. So
don't lend out your pedals.
Don't do it. And so my main tone comes from that. It's just clean with I use like an exotic compressor, but it's really
the little one.
Yeah, it's really thin. It's not very squishy or Rossi like, but it does fatten up the signal and kind of clean things up, which is why I wanted it.
Do you get all your gain from your pedals? You're using the overdrive on your?
I'm not using any of the overdrive from the 2-Rock. It's all clean. All my tone modulation and stuff, it was all from pedals.
It's all up in front.
Yeah.
I think I saw you post a picture of your new pedal setup, and it I think there were 3 boards in it or something.
There's 3 boards.
I
have a lot. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I have the one. I have like the baby crybaby, the little guy, just because I was really building like kind of like a sit-in board as my middle board. And the footprint was the big crybabies were just kind of like, I always used a Vox Wah, but I switched to that, and I kind of love it. It took me a while to get used to it. It's tiny. It's like this big.
No, yeah, I had one, yeah.
And like, I had to, it's all about where you put your foot on it and stuff to really get the sweep range.
Yeah, you have to tilt your heel back
a lot more.
Yeah,
yeah totally. But I don't use a wah that much. So that's kind of like my main board. And then the board on the left is all the modulation, which is like a Moog delay, El Capistan, a Strymon.
Which Moog delay? Do you have the Mini Foger or the
little guy, little black one? I can't remember the name.
Mini Foger, I think they're called.
Yeah. And I have that hooked up to a foot switch. You do some like really weird stuff with it.
Yeah.
I have the Strymon El Capistan, which is my main go-to delay.
Oh, that's a great pedal.
It's amazing. I love that pedal. And then I have a couple Maxon ones. I have their analog delay.
The small one, the pink box. Yeah,
little pink box.
That's a great pedal.
It's awesome. I use that to get kind of tripped out and go that direction. And then I have, let's see, I've got a Keeley phaser, which I'm really digging, especially in like the funk jams. I've been using that a lot. I've got the Trutron. Mike Beagle actually signed mine, which is pretty sweet.
Wow.
And that is, that's in my opinion the best envelope filter. And then I have another envelope filter next to it, the Discombobulator, which is great.
Oh,
and
the
I
Emma.
kind of Emma. And I have them set at like much different styles, so you can kind of get different tones out of that. And let's see, on that board, I think that's it. There's definitely other things on there that I'm trying to picture it in my brain. So that's the left board. The middle board's the one I first was talking about, and then on the right, I've got the Foot's expression pedal for the Moog, and then a Whammy 2, the old school one.
Oh, nice.
Which has I actually have a bypass pedal for that, so that it's not in the chain unless I'm using it, because it
that's
gets
a good call.
Gritty. It gets a little gritty otherwise. And then the Electro Harmonics Pog which I use a lot, and it's the micro pug, not the tiny one, the kind of mid-range one.
Right.
And I've always loved that pedal. I've had it forever, and it kind of gets you some cool polyphonic tones. And then I think it's the B9. It's
the EHX, the organ thing. Yeah,
EHX
that
B9.
thing's cool.
I get some really cool tones out of it. I don't use it kind of the way it was made to use as like an organ sound. I've kind of tweaked a few of the settings on one of, there's a lot of organ settings, but I tweaked it to really kind of get it to be like tripped out and kind of like X-Files-y. Yeah, exactly. So I use it for that, and that's pretty much it. For the most part, I'm clean or with the tube screamers on. And then when we get into the jams and some of the written parts, I'll go nuts with the other pedals. I just like having the options there.
Yeah.
To be able to do it.
No, I'm one of the biggest gear whores out there.
Dude, I have so many pedals, I have boxes at home. So yeah, I'm really happy. Today during soundcheck was the happiest I've been with my rig in a long time.
Yeah, you guys sounded great.
Thanks, man.
Really quick, before we wrap up, I saw you guys last summer at Camp Barefoot, and I was really impressed with your playing because it seemed like you never ran out of ideas. You just kept going. It was great. You think you can tell us a little bit about some of your influences and maybe some things you're into these days, what you study, all that stuff? Because
my playing's been it's between going from like being a songwriter and then a lead player have been sort of the battles of my time lately. So it's like my earliest influences are from like the songwriter point of view, which was like when I was really young. It was like Dave Matthews and Bob Marley, Sublime, a lot of that, kind of stuff. And then when I started playing guitar and getting into lead more, it was Trey, Kang from Cheese, Jimmy Herring is one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
And Ernest Ranglin, a Jamaican jazz guy, is one of my absolute favorites. Really, just getting that right hand down.
Yeah.
And being able to kind of bridge jazz and reggae, and a lot of that style. I certainly cannot play like Ernest. He's incredible.
What's his name? Ernest
Ranglin.
Okay, I'll check him out.
But I've definitely taken a lot of little things and added it into my playing that I love about his playing. And it's really just been trial and error. Jake from Humphreys.
Oh, he's one of my favorites too.
Absolutely one of my favorites. In college, it's all I listened to, just trying to figure out how the hell it is.
Yeah, there were a couple years where all I listened to was Humphreys.
Yeah, so I mean, everybody has kind of played a role in the evolution of kind of how I play. Because with each player that I start kind of obsessing about, I'll take a few things from their playing that I can handle, and kind of work it into my repertoire, which kind of builds.
Your influence is low on your back.
Exactly. And obviously Jerry Garcia, that was kind of early on, and more like the way he handled like gear and tone is like a whole different.
He's not your typical guitar hero, but
right.
but the things he did were incredible. A
lot of the stuff on these guitars were kind of spawned out of what he was trying to do with some of his electronics and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I mean, as far as the ideas go, the guys I play with, we've just been playing for so long that we kind of have figured out what works and what doesn't, and we're kind of at a point where nothing is a no-go, so like give it a whirl, and if the other guys pick up on it, cool. And they usually do, because we've been doing it for so long. Kind of, they all kind of know.
You develop a musical ESP a little bit,
that kind of thing. So it's more of like just give it a whirl and try it, even if you're not used to it. Mm-hmm. A big thing is like finding a riff or a groove that you like and just sitting in it, repeating it, and letting everybody else find it, and then it turns into its own thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of something that we do a lot.
Cool. Well, before we wrap up, anything, excuse me, any cool things you're looking forward to this summer? I saw you guys were added to the Lock-In Festival, but anything you're looking forward to?
Yeah, we're doing our first event that we've really put on as a band called Tumbledown in Burlington, Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just really excited to, throw our own thing and see how it goes. We've got some really good bands that we haven't announced yet that we're stoked to be playing with us, and I think overall it's going to be a really pleasant experience for everybody. So I'm stoked about that.
Nice. And when's that?
It's at the end of July.
End of July.
Yeah, end of July. But it's.
Do you guys? Well, I remember seeing something about, what was the name of
Tumbledown.
Tumbledown?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
Well, where can everyone find you guys online?
twiddlemusic.com.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And thank you once again for sitting down with us.
Thank you, man.
And this is Chris with Audio Bar, and I guess we'll be rocking out to Twiddle here momentarily.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
That was great.
Appreciate that.